All right, Cowboys Nation. All right, Cowboys Nation, man. So, look, we now have a 1% chance of making the playoffs. And I guess you could kind of now say it's kind of pretty much oversaid and done. The Dallas Cowboys really threw this season away. From the offseason drama with contract disputes with Michael Parsons to trading Michael Parsons a season prior, 1 week prior to the season starting, for Kenny Clark. And you know what I'm saying, getting a Quentin Williams out of, the emergency. By the time we got a Quentin Williams, I understand Quentin Williams definitely had an impact on his team from a leadership standpoint too on the field. But it was kind of somewhat too little too late in those 3 games that we won was kind of pretty much just fool's gold. But let's talk about why this was a big year. So one reason why the Dallas Cowboys year was supposed to be very big this year, not saying that this roster was built to win a Super Bowl, built to be true contenders. But number one, man, you got Dak Prescott back from injury, and you also rebuilding your offensive line post Tyron Smith and Zach Martin departing, right, and going into retirement. So that was a plus, right? Drafting Tyler Booker, um, Tyler Guyton somewhat starting to improve, but not all the way there yet. And the development of Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith being great at what he does, and Terrence Steele being a very comparable starting tackle in my opinion. I think he's actually a pretty solid player. And then you also acquire the weapons, right? You get a George Pickens, right, to complement the CeeDee Lamb. And the running back room, I wouldn't say it's better, but you got a solid pickup in Javonte Williams, who seemed like a diamond in the rough. Number two, man, any given Sunday, like you just never know what's going to transpire. You never know what's going to happen, man. This is why you got to play every Sunday like it's your last. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring that competitive nature, that tenacity, every single ball game, man. And a lot of times the Dallas Cowboys, once again, pump us up in the off season, this, that, and the third, and all this drama and stuff like that, and we just fall for it and we eat it up like candy, right? Who knew that, like, at this point, the NFC was going to be this wide open, right? Philadelphia is still kind of somewhat struggling, although they blew out the Raiders Sunday afternoon. Micah Parsons goes down with the drastic ACL tear. Devontae Adams possibly tore his hamstring, and also Puka Nacua has a significant knee injury. Right, right. You have some of the biggest rivals, conference rivals of the Dallas Cowboys, like the Packers. They're injured now. Also, the San Francisco 49ers, although they're climbing into the playoffs, they're, I'm saying, not 100%. So considering all the, red flags that all these teams have in the NFC, from the Rams now to the Green Bay Packers to the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, although teams like the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks, they're playing great football this season, man. They have one of the best defenses in the conference. I still feel like a team with a high power offense like the Dallas Cowboys can definitely expose and counter some of those things, some of those weaknesses, man. And, this is one of the best versions of Dak Prescott that we've seen. Although, statistically, 2023 was better than what he's doing right now. Statistically. Guys, you know what I'm saying? Based on how this season is pretty much panning out, people be like, oh man, I never seen Dak play like this. Bullshit. BS. You saw Dak Prescott play like this 2 years when they gave that MVP trophy to Lamar Jackson. You saw this. You saw this version of Dak before, man. Dak had less turnovers that season. Dak had more touchdown passes, and Dak had way more passing yards. You know what I'm saying? Dak is not going to eclipse what he did in 2023. This year, he just cracked a whole bunch of milestones, which is great. And, you know what I mean? Like, for the first half of the season, he really was kind of pretty much carrying the team afloat. And, it's just unfortunate to see, one of his best seasons to pretty much go to waste. Now, he will probably end up winning a comeback player of the year, but the MVP trophy, that's out of the blue, man, because it's like they're not going to award the MVP trophy to a team, to a player on a losing team. They're just not going to do that. No. And I kind of also find it amazing how like so many Cowboy fans want Trayvon Diggs out the door, and it's like okay, Trayvon Diggs hasn't played since week 6, and our defense hasn't played better without him. Not saying the defense was all world with Trayvon Diggs, but like you know what I mean, like new coach, new defensive coordinator, new system once again. You know what I'm saying? For this like the third time in 4 years. This is Trayvon Diggs' fourth defensive coordinator. I mean, if you're gonna allow and give grace to the other players, you know what I'm saying, to kind of pretty much get acquainted and adapted to the system, why not allow Trayvon Diggs, your best corner, to do that as well? And it's beyond he was in concussion protocol. It's beyond he was rehabilitating his knee, trying to get his strength back to 100%. Because nothing was wrong with Trayvon Diggs prior to him being on IR or being benched. Nothing was wrong with Trayvon Diggs. I think more so the bigger issue Cowboy fans need to be loud about is that the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, man, training staff and front office, they kind of pretty much force players to come back early from injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Gallup came back early from his ACL tear, and we know how that worked out. Trayvon Diggs coming back early from his knee cartilage injury. Um, Dez Bryant coming back early from that foot that Jones fracture in 2015, and then it turned out to be something worse. He had to get surgery once again on that foot, and I think also ankle surgery that off season as well, man. So like we always forcing players to come back, early for the most part. Dak Prescott came back pretty soon from his his ankle break in 2020. You know what I'm saying? He had somewhat of a great recovery, but remember he still had that calf injury that he was nursing in 2021 too, man. That he sat out maybe about 1 or 2 games for. So yeah, guys, like we've allowed every quarterback, every quarterback to have a career day against us. You know what I mean? Like Caleb Williams probably had the best game of his career against us. Caleb Williams, for the first time in his career, went a game without being sacked against the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Russell Wilson went for a career high. I think it was 450 yards passing against us. You know what I'm saying? uh, you know what I'm saying? Russell Wilson looked like he was gonna have a great season. You know what I mean? Jacoby Brissett looked like Kurt Warner out there. Bryce Young was looking like Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying, reincarnated. Like JJ McCarthy, you know what I'm saying, looked pretty good against us yesterday. And he's been struggling. It's just, it's a consistent pattern of just bad coaching and play on the field. And I just feel like we don't need to like the whole like situation as it pertains to improving our defensive line, especially in the interior defensive tackle. We didn't have to sacrifice Micah to do that. Like, and I'm not saying, oh, I wish Michael Parsons was still here. It's not even so much about that. It's not even so much about, oh, we have all these draft picks. Like, no, man. Like, we didn't have to sacrifice so much just to get better at that one position, right? Like this is the first time we've actually had a good defensive tackle room in a very long time, right? And now our edges still are, not that good, right? I mean, Jadeveon Clowney's played solid. James Houston's played solid. Donovan Ezra-Rocco has flashed here and there. Rest in peace, Marshawn Nealon. And it's just like we didn't have to do all this. We didn't have to start this drama up just to get better at one position. It's just crazy. Yeah, guys. So I mean, even a Terrence Steele who came back early from his ACL tear. I know Cowboy fans don't like him, but that's another example right there. But man, I just think it's a a real unfortunate situation, man. We talking about competition, talking about bringing a certain type of culture to the Dallas Cowboys organization to trickle down to the players, holding players accountable and things like that. And it's like, well, if Trayvon Diggs is, the best, what you have, and he's kind of pretty much showing that in practice and on the field as well, it's like you have other players that are playing that are hurt, that are way more hurt than Trayvon Diggs is. You know what I mean? And you're playing these guys, right? And you're crumbling and you're ruining the development of these players, right? Savon Rebel, Kalen Carson playing hurt. Like, why are you playing these rookies hurt? Why are you playing these young players hurt? It doesn't make sense. Let me know what y'all think in the conversation below. All right, peace.